Welcome back to the Yardstop Garden Center podcast. I'm your host, Emily, and today our guest speaker is Mark Miller. Mark Miller is a urban forester and tree arborist, and today that's what we're going to be talking about. He also works for the city of Mount Dora. Sorry, I left that part out, Mark.
Well, thank you, Emily.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
I hope
you,
that was a
Emily.
well enough introduction for
That
you.
was
We're
wonderful.
excited to have you.
I thank you for having me on your podcast, and thank you very much for being here. But first and foremost, I want to thank Yardstop because it's been instrumental of Yardstop working with me since I've been with the city. Been with the city now just about 2 years, and I met Chris Gordon maybe a year and a half, year and 3/4 or so ago, and him and I just struck this great, not only friendship, but an awesome working relationship, which is even more important. Yardstop's been instrumental in helping me put trees all around the community, but mostly and most lately, we've been really kind of reforesting downtown Mount Dora, which has been awesome sauce. And I say that because it has been, we put a nice variety of different trees, and if it wasn't for Yardstop, I don't know how I could have got it done. So I'm grateful that they've done a great job with me. Chris has done an awesome job working with me. We've done it hand in hand, and I do appreciate Yardstop and what they've done for the city.
Well, that's awesome. I haven't worked for Yardstop for too long on the marketing side, but I usually will go out and take pictures and videos of the jobs. And coming out to, I think it was it?
It was Florida Arbor Day,
yeah.
Which
We
was
were
in
installing a
January,
tree
right?
for you guys.
Yardstop installed a large tree, a 7-inch caliper tree, roughly 7-inch caliper tree, about 7,500 pounds.
It was really big.
Big tree.
The whole process looked a little
it was big tree.
Yep.
And a big hole. So we were able to put that in. It was the largest tree ever put in the community of Mount Dora, from our perspective, at least from the city's perspective. And we had extra watering put on it, which Yardstop helped provide as well. When I say watering, I mean irrigation system put around it. And we are excited about that tree because now, and that's a live oak. That is a live oak. It's actually a cathedral live oak. But that particular tree is going to help not only beautify the city's park, which is Donnelly Park, our main park, but it will allow another big tree so we can decorate it for Christmas. And that's one of our focuses that we're going to be looking at over the next couple of years.
Yeah, that is a huge attraction. Christmas time, I know they close off the main entrance of the street, and they do the light up Mount Dora, and mobs of people come. I've come to that several times. And
Absolutely.
It's really beautiful. But we couldn't do it if we didn't plant big trees, you know?
Absolutely.
So is there a difference between urban forester and tree arborist? How do they coincide, if you will?
Actually, that's a great question because there really is a difference. You can be an urban forester and not an arborist. You can be an arborist and not an urban forester, and I'm both. Yeah. The difference would be an arborist sits on an exam. They go through a process to learn. You have to get enough credits and information to be able to sit for the exam. And it's actually it's an ISA, International Society of Arboriculture, is the organization that puts on the certified arborist process. And there's different levels. Yeah. You can go all the way top to be a board certified arborist. I am not. I'm just an independent arborist.
Yeah.
And once you sit on that process of getting testing, then you have to go through quite an intensive testing process. But once you pass that, you become a certified arborist. Then keeping that certified arborist process is getting what's called CEUs, which is the continuing education credits or units. And then once you continue keeping that up, it keeps your certification up.
Okay.
And now, as an urban forester, you can be an urban forester, which you can go get a degree from the University of Florida or anywhere. I'm picking on that one, but anywhere in the United States and get a degree in forestry. And then you can actually become an urban forester by working for an agency that would deem you as an urban forester.
Yeah.
There are certifications also to be a certified urban forester. I am working on that. I hope to get that sometime soon. But the criteria of being an urban forester is actually usually working for somebody who calls you that. And an urban forester takes care of our trees within an urban setting, which is different from a forester who takes care of trees in a forest setting.
Okay. All right. And then do you work hand in hand with Mount Dora Friends of the Environment?
I do.
Okay.
If it wasn't for that group, like Mark Vaughn and the Mount Dora Friends of the Environment and that group, I probably wouldn't even be sitting here. They were instrumental as well to promote the idea of urban forestry to the community. After 30 years of promoting it, working with the city and doing urban forestry kind of on their own, they pushed the city into getting an established urban forester and getting an urban forestry department. And that's been key to the success of myself and Mount Dora Urban Forestry, and thanks to the Mount Dora friends who said, hey, let's get this going, let's push this forward.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, we were able to implement that process, and I'm excited to be the first one.
That's exciting. Do you do soil assessment as well?
No, I don't do any soil assessments. Well, in a sense, I guess you can call it soil assessment versus soil analysis. A soil analysis is taking it to a lab, and you get all the goodies that's inside.
Right.
A soil assessment is really the only thing I would do is deals with compaction or if an area is suitable to plant a tree.
Right.
That's basically soil assessment.
Okay.
Now, there are other things I do. Obviously, I do more than just plant trees with the Mount Dora Friends Department.
Tell us what more you do.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. There's so many other things. I also I've developed a 5 and 25-year program. It's on our website. I helped put together I didn't actually do the website. That was other people within the city. But we have a wonderful urban forestry website. On it has a lot of data and information that you can get additional things about urban forestry and what the city's doing. We're also doing a neighborhood tree program, which we're planting trees in our community through other resources. We're also doing a street tree program. We're also online. We've got a what we call a canopy tree program that is actually partnership with the National Arbor Day Foundation. And that canopy program allows the general public, if you live in Mount Dora, you can get a free tree mailed to you. All you have to do is fill out a simple application. Yeah, a lot of people don't even know it. I had one mailed just to see how good it was. Great trees, fantastic tree, a nice sized tree. It's not a little stick or something you think you're going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 2.5, 3 foot tree mailed to you. You have a choice of several to choose from. Just go to the website, fill it out, piece of cake. But that's with the National Arbor Day Foundation.
Amazing.
So we have multiple programs, and of course the one that we're really excited about, we're doing our first ever National Arbor Day event. That's going to be this weekend, this Friday is actually Arbor Day, on National Arbor Day the 24th, but on the 25th, we're going to celebrate National Arbor Day, and you guys are going to be there too. Yard Shop's going to be there.
Oh, that's right.
You guys are going to be there, so have the table, and you're going to be setting up as well, but we're going to be giving away trees to our community. Over 250 different species, different trees, not different species, 18 different species of trees, over 250 trees. And what's great about that, we're also celebrating our nation's age or anniversary by 250. We're going to be 250 years old this year, so in turn for our nation, and so we're going to give away 250 plus trees. We're going to be closer to 500 trees, really.
Wow.
That's going to be awesome. And if it wasn't for a guy that started in, what was that date? 1872, I believe. He started about 150 years ago. We started National Arbor Day. J. Sterling Morton, the founder of it, and they planted nearly 1 million trees in the first planting of Arbor Day.
That's incredible.
So, and there's 2 Arbor Days, Florida Arbor Day and National Arbor Day. Florida Arbor Day is recognized in January, and the National Arbor Day is recognized in April.
Right. I feel like Johnny Appleseed should be in there somewhere, you know?
Yeah, I like Johnny Appleseed too. He was a real character. People don't think he was real. He was real. He planted,
I think he's real.
Yeah, he planted apple trees throughout, actually out the west.
Yeah. Well, why would you say that, other than people's love for trees, why should the community care about planting trees? And what, if you could explain it from a scientific point of view, what about the tree helps the environment to be clean? And can you explain a little bit more on that?
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
Here.
Yeah, that's a really loaded question because
the
information could be exponentially large. But the simplest probably answer is we love trees.
Right.
We love trees. We love trees for its beauty, for its bloom, its ability, legacy of trees. Mm-hmm. Trees can live hundreds of years old, sometimes 40 or 50 years old. We can plant them to reduce the heat in our house and reduce our temperature in our house by sometimes 10 to 15%, reduce our electric bill. It helps with erosion control. It also helps with the idea of habitats for animals and creatures.
Yep.
It allows for softening of our environment. The heat index, it lowers the heat index of parking lots and areas around our community. It produces a canopy that softens our world around us. And yes, people's waiting for me to say it. It does produce oxygen. It's not the greatest of production of oxygen. That actually comes from photoplankton that's actually in the ocean. That's actually the greatest production of oxygen. Wow. But trees do produce oxygen. Yeah. They take in carbon dioxide and they push out oxygen.
Right. Wow. I think I asked Mark Vaughn this question too, but did you climb trees when you were a kid?
Absolutely. It's how can you not climb trees? And that's another thing, that trees are not sitting in front of a video game. The great way to try to look at it is there's no memory or legacy or information in playing video games. It's come and goes and you go on.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But there's a memory. You build memories and visions and ideas when you're climbing a tree. You're outside, you're playing, you get bit by a bug, you get rolling in the dirt, and you get stains on your knees, you fall out of a tree and break your arm. I'm being silly for a minute.
Yeah.
But that's a memory that you can always say, that was cool. Building a forest, building a tree forest, a house or tree house within trees.
Yeah.
Cool memories.
As an urban forester, would you say there's a concern with how many trees we have to cut down for all the new housing developments that we're building?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Everybody likes to throw that one into, they're just wiping out our trees. And we joke about it. Just take all the trees out,
Yeah.
To some degree, I get that. Everybody's concerned about too much production or too much development or too much. And the reality is we do it because of the world we live in. People are growing. We have to have people someplace to live. 1,100 people move to our community every day or in our state. Used to be 1,000. It's gone up to 1,100. Moved in. That is not hearsay. That is documented information.
Yep.
So where are you going to house all those people? You can say, kick them out and make them go back.
Yeah.
People love Florida. They love Florida. So you got to have a place to live.
Right.
And that is a challenge. Now, how do you soften that challenge? You soften that by having great regulations. And yes, it's a government thing. I do sit on our board for our city. I sit on our landscape board and our tree board and anything related to that in code enforcement and, not code enforcement as much. Even though I'd work with them. But other areas of development for our city.
Right.
And what we do with that is we encourage to replant our community, to put trees back in our community, to replant based on a certain criteria or status or set up with a program. And if you can't put those trees back, you mitigate. And the way you do that is if you can only put so many inches back or so many trees back, then there's a cost.
Right.
And that cost then can develop into money that goes back into our city, such as a tree bank. And a tree bank is developed, which we have done since I've been here. We build this tree bank up, and what do we do with that money? We turn around and put more trees in our community. We use it to help fund certain things like the neighborhood tree program. We fund the street tree program. We do the National Arbor Day program that we fund. We even help with getting different organizations like Yardstop to help us plant trees in our community, okay. And we can take that funding to support it and not taxpayers' funds. Wow. So it ends up being a real win in the long run. Now people might say, well, that money's going to run out. Really, folks? We're always doing development. We're always doing development.
More money, yeah.
So that's the process of development. It's not an easy one to cure, but the idea is it's not curing, it's understanding what we have to do to put back trees.
Yeah.
And there are trees that are undesirable. There really are. There's hazardous trees, there's noxious trees, there's invasive trees, there's trees that just aren't good to keep. So in turn, what we do is we do a tree inventory, which we just did as well, through a grant, again, not city funds, that we just did a tree inventory. We have 6,050 trees in our inventory of our city trees. We have over 3,400 in our right-of-way trees.
Wow.
And those numbers means that we now can utilize that data, put it in a database called ARC or GSI. We can now start establishing where else can we put trees.
Right.
And if those trees, some of those trees are not desirable trees, we may need to remove those, such as some of the laurel oaks, or trees under power lines, or trees that are failing, or chinaberry trees, or
Right.
camphor trees,
Yeah.
or trees that are collapsing and that you don't sell here at Yard Stop
Yep.
because they're considered poor trees.
Right.
So we're ideal of how can we make our community better by putting in better trees.
Right. And you had also mentioned something, you'd mentioned a lot of programs earlier. I wanted to ask, are those, do we need volunteers for those programs to work? And if so, how would you encourage the community to get involved with that?
Great question again. I have 2 part-time staff, so it's a very small group. It's myself full-time and 2 part-time guys, and they have only been here just over a year, and they're doing other things in my process. They're doing pruning trees. We're also doing educational programs on pruning trees. But back to the volunteer thing, our main source of volunteers is the Outdoor Friends of the Environment.
Okay.
They are, again, I use that word again, I'm going to repeat it, instrumental. They are exceptional on what they do for the city. The way that works is we have a meeting once a month with the small group of the Outdoor Friends of the Environment. We sit down, we discuss where we'd like to plant more trees in our community. We talk about other things that we're doing as well. And then we decide on where we want to plant those trees. And then we put those, we get an idea, we do locates, we get an idea where we can put those trees. We try to group them. And then once we get the trees installed, the city installs the trees. I now are contracting that work out. I used to do that all in-house. That was challenging. But now it's contracted out, which makes it so much simpler, so much quicker. So we put those, once we get those in the ground, then if it wasn't from Outdoor Friends in the Environment, because remember, these trees are in the ground, who's watering them? Who's taking care of them? Well, here's the way that works. The Outdoor Friends of the Environment agrees that they can water so many trees in a period of time. We've set up a program now. After 2 years, we've got a pretty good program, pretty good way to set it up. We do X amount of trees that we plant per season, and we water those trees per season. Once those are established based on University of Florida guidelines, we get those established, we let those trees go, and we move on to the next planting, and then we start watering those trees. And we do this rotation of constantly putting trees in and letting trees go once they're established. And then my guys go back, we fertilize them. We also look at pruning, and we look at doing things to those trees to keep them going and growing. Like that, going and growing.
Yeah, I like that. That's catchy.
That was catchy.
Going and growing.
So that's kind of our process. And so you can always, to be a volunteer, I recommend going with the Outdoor Friends of the Environment. I don't have anything separate from them. And if I did, it would be really kind of a challenge with both groups trying to do things that is not necessary. So the Outdoor Friends is our stopping point.
Yeah. Wow.
Or going point.
I love that. Well, Mark, I feel like we covered a lot. There's probably so much more that I could sit here and ask you about, and we could probably go for another 20 minutes, but I know we're out of time. So is there anything else that you would like the community or anything else you would like our listeners to know before we end?
I think the biggest thing I want to remind everybody that we're in it to win it. We are here to serve our community one tree at a time. And by doing that, we can improve our canopy. We're at 34% right now, our canopy. My goal is to increase that. You might say, is that good or bad? Actually, that's very good. When the average in the whole state of Florida is only 36%. So we're very good at our canopy criteria, our canopy coverage. Our objective is continue that canopy coverage, is continue planting trees, but the right tree. We also look at making sure it's the right place that we can plant. We want to reforest our community, and we need you to help. Thanks a lot for bringing me.
That's a good call to action. Guys, thanks so much for tuning into this episode. If you would like to get involved in the community with trees, you can go visit the Outdoor Friends of the Environment online. Thank you so much again for joining our conversation. I hope you took something educational away. And yeah, go plant trees. We'll see you in the next episode. Also, Mark, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We really enjoyed having you.
Thank you, Emily.
So, we'll see you guys later.
May the forest be with you.
May the forest be with you.